What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Games Live right here on twitch.tv/MVP Vids or MVP Entertainment on YouTube. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Soapy Muffin.
Hi, everybody.
Soapy, you doing good today? You feeling good today?
Yeah, it's a kind of special day.
It is? Oh, it is. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Happy birthday. You know what? I was like, you said special day, and I went, oh, it's Labor Day. And then I was like, Soapy's not that excited about Labor Day. And I went, oh, it's his birthday.
I was going to say, like, what the fuck? Why would I view Labor Day as a special day?
I know, I was confused. When you said special day, I was like, wow, Soapy's really into Labor Day. And I was like, oh, shit, no, happy birthday, big guy.
Yeah.
You're officially no longer a teenager.
Yeah.
Right?
I officially count as an adult now.
You're the big O2. No, well, you've always been an adult since 18. Don't let anyone tell you different. You've been considered an adult since 18. But now you're officially like seen as like, oh, we can trust him now. But actually, but at the same time, I think about it. So this is a side note. I watched this comedian. She's a young female comedian, Taylor something, on Netflix. And she did a whole bit about how like the difference between being in your mid-20s to your early 20s is when you're in your early 20s, everyone treats you like they can't trust you. Like, here's a task, but then we're going to just make sure that you did it right. Whereas when you're in your mid-20s, it's actually like, oh, people can trust me to do shit now and don't think I'm going to fuck everything up because I'm a 20-year-old. That's what that made me think of when I said, oh, yeah, they'll actually trust you now. But happy birthday, Soaps. Let's get some HBDs in chat right now for Soapy and down below in the comment section. But we got a jam-packed show, Soapy, talking about Cyberpunk 2077, talking a little Epic Apple, and much, much more. Before we get into everything, though, quick housekeeping for today. Number one, join the Discord. Link down below in the description. ! Discord in Twitch chat. This guy already on it. If you want to join that, it's a great time talking to everybody in the real MVP family. Also, patreon.com/MVP Vids. That's how you help support the channel. Thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Philly Sean and Pat Hill. And last but not least, we do the show every Monday through Friday on twitch.tv/MVP Vids, but you can always catch it on YouTube, MVP Entertainment as well. And Soapy, let's start with the first thing we're talking about, a little Cyberpunk 2077 news going out there. This one from Adam Bankhurst at IGN. And it reads this: Cyberpunk 2077 is now in its final stretch of development. No further major delays expected. Cyberpunk 2077 has now entered its final stretch of development, and developer CD Projekt Red appears confident that there will be no more further major delays. CD Projekt Red CFO Piotr Nelobuik, I hope I said that right, PN is what I'll call him, made these comments during a video recapping the first half of the developer's fiscal year, stating, when we meet again in this format, Cyberpunk 2077 will have already been released. So, Soapy, what are your thoughts on this? How excited are you for this? That it looks like we're going to be getting Cyberpunk 2077 on November 19th, 2020.
Well, it's about goddamn time. I'm waiting for this game since like the fucking Stone Age.
Oh, how many times it's been delayed? It's going to be delayed.
Well, I'm trying
how
to
many
think.
times, like Keanu Reeves, like that whole explosion of at E3 2019, the Xbox showcase, when Keanu Reeves came out. Yeah. And it's like, holy shit, it's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, like, because I'm trying to remember, that hour-long gameplay came out in what?
That was like right before E3. Yeah, that was before E3.
Yeah, so we've literally been sitting here. Like, I can't fucking, like, dude, it feels like it's been delayed for so goddamn long.
Here, let's see. Too Old to... Because we talked about it on Too Old to Game. Cyberpunk. Let's see. I thought we talked about it on Too Old to Game. I think it was 2019. It had to be 2019. I'd have to look up my Too Old to Games though. But yeah, it's been a while since it was like, holy shit, are we gonna get this game?
Yeah, and that's something that I'm actually happy about, that they're coming out and saying like, hey, listen, no more delays. But now if they delay now, everyone's gonna clown on them. That's the only thing that sucks about being in this stage of development.
I don't think they're going to though. Like,
I know. I'm just saying, in case something does come up that they'd have to. Now everyone's gonna be like, oh, okay, cool, you got our hopes up. But I hope, I can't wait. Mostly because I don't know if it's felt like this for you. 2020 just feels like a really boring year. Besides just everything like shitty that's happened, like in gaming. What the fuck is gonna win Game of the Year?
It just seems
Ghost of Tsushima is like the fucking front runner.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to. What was I thinking? The earlier, unless Jedi Fallen Order, because it didn't qualify last year. So, like, what does Jedi Fallen Order get it because it was defaulted into like this year's E3? Like, is that how we view it? Or not E3, Game Awards is what I meant to say. I was looking at something else on my tablet and said E3.
But no, it's like, I'm just happy we're finally getting a really big title this year.
Because I mean,
like, obviously,
does Avengers come close to get nominated with all the good things we've heard about it?
I don't know. And it's weird.
And this guy helping us out said first release date was April 16th of this year. Game was first announced in 2012.
Oh, okay.
So there's been a game
that makes more sense, but it feels like forever.
Yeah, this game has been in development for what, 8 years now?
8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
And we got some other news with it too, Soaps. Both of these coming from VGC. This first one says Cyberpunk 2077 post-release content plans will be revealed fairly soon, and CD Projekt Red is planning more DLC than Witcher 3 received. That's according to CD Projekt president Adam Kosicki, who reiterated this week that Cyberpunk would follow a similar DLC plan to The Witch Hunt. The exec told investors in a conference that the highly anticipated open-world game DLC plan would be revealed ahead of its release on November 19th. The Witcher 3's DLC plan was also revealed before the full game's release. So it looks like we're going to get DLC that's similar to that, but then also Cyberpunk 2077 is preparing to enter final certification and won't cost $70 on next gen. Will not cost an arm and a leg for next gen. So you won't have, because this is something we've talked about before with games. 2K, we've talked about it too, where is there going to be a price hike for the next gen games because it's next gen?
There's a very strong chance. I mean, 2K is just a greedy fucking company, so they would do that in a heartbeat. Like, I don't know if most companies do it. I think, because obviously we've had this conversation before, where it's like I feel like Rockstar could get away with doing that because their games always have a lot of content in them.
Yeah,
but that's not with Cyberpunk. The one thing, this is something,
and I looked it up. Don't mean to cut you off. The exact quote here is: "Pre-orders for our game in the U.S. going at $59.99, and we're not planning to change that price at the last minute. So it's going to be a $60 game."
Yeah, but like the thing that I was gonna say is the one thing that's kind of, like, I don't want to say it's concerning, but I'm kind of like, is that the thing to be focusing on right now?
What?
Like,
how much it's going to cost?
No, is with them saying like, oh, we're gonna tell you all the DLCs we're making for this game. Don't you kind of want to make sure your game's good and make sure people kind of like? I think like after like a week or two of the game being out, I think that's a better time to announce the DLC plans. Because if you just say like, oh, we plan more DLC than Witcher 3, okay, yeah. Witcher 3 got like 8 DLCs or some stupid shit like that. Like that tells people, okay, we're getting more than 8 DLCs. Like I think waiting to see like what the verdict is on your game, I think is more important than telling people, hey, in the future you can expect. Obviously, once again, like I also, and this is more or less coming from a point of like, I've seen games like hype up all this shit they're gonna do, and then they flop.
Was Witcher 3 ever delayed? Like, or
Yes.
was it delayed to the point like Cyberpunk has been?
It got
That would
delayed
be my
quite
question.
a few times. I believe it got, I think if I remember correctly, it got delayed twice.
Okay.
And Witcher 3 was also only I think it was in development for like 5 years or something like that. Like, so it's one of those things where like I get that point of like, oh, we've waited so long, we may as well hear about the DLC plans.
Yeah.
But also to me, I think it's kind of, you're already kind of putting all your eggs in the basket of like, hey, our game's gonna be just like stupidly good at launch, when people do have concerns of how good how Cyberpunk will be at launch.
So you're saying focus more on, hey, this is what our game's going to look like day one, rather than, hey, these are all the DLCs you're going to get after the game comes out. Like, I don't disagree with you there, only because of the fact of, like, Witcher 3, I wasn't hugely into as it was releasing, so I don't remember, like, how many times that was delayed. That's why I asked that question. But, like, this one, because it's been delayed so much, I almost agree with you, where it's like the last time we saw something was, I think recently they showed like a little bit of something, but the last time we saw major gameplay was like a year ago or a little bit over a year ago, where I almost feared like, are they expecting the hype of this game to carry them through to where it's like, we don't need to show off more. The hype is going to do it themselves. And that might be a tricky situation, because how far can you expect that hype of a majorly delayed game to sell copies for a game that's highly anticipated?
Yeah, and obviously the hype's going to carry it to huge initial success. And obviously, DLCs will carry it into the future. And mostly just for me, I'm kind of at this position of like, okay, why don't you show people like the finished product?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it may not be exactly finished right now, because like they said, they're in the final home stretch of it. But like, start showing people more of like, oh shit, this is what to expect. Like, this is what you are getting. Show people that.
Yeah.
Don't tell us like, hey, look at this future content. You have to wait. Obviously, like maybe, let's say like they take 3 months to make the DLC or to release it. If they do that, it's then look at the stuff you're getting 3 months down the line. It's like, okay, why do I care what's 3 months down the line if I hate the game?
Well, and that's what I almost think of like Avengers, where Avengers did the opposite, where so we knew beforehand that, hey, Hawkeye is going to be the first hero. That's fine. But what, a month before the game came out, they had the open betas, which they rolled out in the way of like pre-orders, then PlayStation, then PlayStation and PC, then everybody, because Xbox got included to the last one, I think, where they were like, we're going to focus on our gameplay and what the game features. And then right after the game came out, or it might have been right before for most, but like pre-orders got to play it 3 days early. So after 2 days of the pre-orders playing it, we got that war table where then you and I talked about, oh, Kate Bishop is actually going to be playable. This is what the first DLC is going to look like, where it's going to roll out in October and finish in November, where I almost feel like Cyberpunk should do a situation like that, where it's like, if you don't have a beta, don't force a beta out there. But for the first month before the game comes out, let me know about the gameplay. Let me see things where it comes to playing the game. And then right after it comes out and people are high on the game, then be like, oh, this is when the first DLC is coming at you.
Yeah. And especially because I think that's a tried and true method of working with it. Because like, for instance, I mean, obviously, if Call of Duty fucking wanted to, they would. If like a whole year before they'd be like, hey, the next Call of Duty game is going to be the next 4 DLCs. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if a company ever did. I mean, obviously not to that extent, but Call of Duty also basically just doesn't give a shit anymore. Well, they can release like the worst game ever and it'll still sell like hotcakes.
It's almost like, so I was listening to It's called the Xcast, one of Kind of Funny's podcast, which is weird. I'm listening to an Xbox podcast and I'm a PlayStation pony. But one of the things they talked about is they were talking about Tony Hawk Pro Skater. And they mentioned how Activision had, so Activision has they wore Tony Hawk into the ground. Because by the time you got to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, it's like, this is dog shit. They wore Guitar Hero into the ground with how many Guitar Heroes we had. But like Call of Duty has always been the game of like, they could just, new one comes out, people buy it. They don't necessarily, it's nice that Cold War kind of seems like it's a little different and a little different flavor than what we've had in a while. But like, that's the only series that they've just year after year pump, and people have just bought it without actually seeing any gameplay, because yet again, it's a Call of Duty game. If you played one, you've played them all.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the only game that kind of works with. And the thing that I think of is, so Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, all right, it's not going to be the same date. It's basically, the one thing though Cyberpunk has to think about is, so November 13th, that's when Cold War comes out. It's a Friday. The next Thursday, Cyberpunk comes out. So are you telling me that enough people that are probably going to be into both games are going to be worn out of Cold War by the 19th to just pick up Cyberpunk? Like, I feel like the overlapping of the two, I would think a little bit of like, okay, I've got to do something to get people hyped about this game because we are going to be competing with Cold War in a sense.
Yeah. And just to, sorry, I don't mean to basically take this conversation in a completely different direction. To kind of bring it back to Cyberpunk.
Yeah, go with it.
I think one of the main things that CD Projekt Red should focus on is obviously, like, I mean, this guy pointed it out, I was technically wrong. It wasn't 8, there was 2 main DLCs and a bunch of free shit. I'm just saying, though, free shit still counts as DLC, so I'm not wrong.
It felt like 8 DLCs is what you're saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, considering Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone was literally, like, every other game's 4 DLCs put in 1.
Yeah.
But it was, I think they need to focus right now on regaining that hype, because I have, like, obviously there are still people talking about it, but not anywhere near as much as there was with the Keanu event. Nowhere near the amount when the hour-long gameplay was released.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but do you think they might have had something, they might have had another oh shit moment like that planned for this year's E3, but when it didn't happen, that might have fucked things up?
Yeah. I don't think E3 fucked it up. I think it's more or less of they just probably didn't want to announce it. I don't know how to describe it. CD Projekt Red is a very weird company.
Maybe at the time it's like they didn't know that there'd be no further delays, and obviously you don't want to get people hyped up. You don't want to say, oh my god, this is like, we're getting you hyped up, and then boom, another delay. Where this is at least saying now is the time, because you're saying there's no more further major delays, you're confident in it. Now this is the time to attack. You have to attack that audience and show them exactly what your game is going to bring, because otherwise people will sit there and say what you did, where it's like, yeah, they say more further delays, but I'm not, like when you said, oh, if there's another one, that means in the back of your mind, you're not 100% confident that there won't be another delay.
Yeah, and I think especially in October and November, when you're nearing your release, you need to be putting shit out. Like, put another trailer out. Like, maybe not another hour-long gameplay, but like...
at least a trailer.
Yeah, trailers. Like, have panels with people. Have your staff or, like, higher-ups in the company do interviews with, like people who do interviews on YouTube for gaming.
Like developers and shit like that.
Yeah, have them speak to interviewers to get the hype out there. Have it to where, like, obviously you can draw up hype for the DLCs of, like, oh, you know, like, we're trying to make these DLCs ambitious or anything. That's fine. It's don't focus on the future of your game. Focus now, because if your game sucks at launch and people don't like it, gaming has a very weird perspective of, it's kind of like in real life, first impressions matter.
Mm-hmm.
Where obviously, like we've brought up No Man's Sky in the past. No Man's Sky now is viewed as a good game at launch. Hell no.
Yeah, it was not. I remember Mark talking about that game and how he was so hyped going into it, and then when he started playing it, he's like, no, it's not a good game at all. Because I even asked him, I said, well, should I pick it up? And he goes, no. He's like, don't pick it up because it's not a good time at this point. But Soapy, let's move on. The next thing we're going to talk about, if your birthday was going fine, Soapy, that's okay. But it's going to bring down a little bit did I get knocked out of my Discord now? I did. So remember when I said I could hear you?
Yeah.
I have it like right after that. Oh, fuck. This is going to be bad for the fucking stream. I'm going to have to reset my router before the fantasy draft. All right. But Soapy, moving into the next topic, if you were having a good birthday, sorry to bring it down a little bit here, is we've got more Epic Apple coming out right now. If you're on Twitch, I don't know where the stream cut off, so we're just starting right from the beginning. And this is from Adam Bankhurst at IGN. It says, Epic has once again made a move to try and get the court to reinstate Fortnite to Apple's App Store. As it has stated, since its removal, daily iOS Fortnite players have dropped by over 60%. As reported by The Verge, Epic Games has filed a preliminary injunction against Apple that would force it to put Fortnite back on its App Store. The full hearing for this overall case had already been scheduled on September 28th, but Epic is hoping to have Fortnite back in the hands of iOS players before then, at least until the verdict is reached. Soapy, this is the latest kind of update in this. My quick thought before I let you, the annual Fuck Epic chairman of the board here at MVP Games, I kind of look at that if I'm Apple right now, I have the biggest fucking grin on my face because it's kind of like oh yeah, Epic. Yeah, you really fucked yourself, didn't you? 60% of people not playing your game right now. Guess what? It ain't hurting us. It's hurting you right now. It's hurting you because I know how Epic is going to spin this. They're going to spin it in the sense, Soapy, of you know what? This is 60% of people that would want to play our game, but Apple is being the bad guy, and they're taking it out of the hands of these gamers. But no, it's like if I'm Apple, I'm sitting there, I'm grinning because it's like you're losing here. You are losing 60% of your fan base is not playing the game, going to play something else, and guess who's to blame, Epic? Yourself. Soapy, your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. Epic, how about next time, when you read the terms of service, as a major corporation, don't expect Apple, a bigger corporation, to let you walk all over them. Because, dog, that ain't gonna work. That shit don't fly in Apple. So basically, to always piggyback off of the fuck Epic train that I basically have become the conductor of.
You are the chairman of it.
Yeah. This should show Apple, they have no, the only worry they should have is if, they try to use some stupid bullshit of, it says in these terms of service, they can't deny this. Mm-hmm. It's like, dude, I already know Epic is going to try and find any little thing to try to make their case, and the court's already ruled before. It's Apple's service, they don't have to do that.
Yeah.
So, what makes Epic think that it's going to change this time?
I don't know. And actually, you know what I should have looked up, Soapy? And I'm going to look up right now? Is, what does Mr. Tim Sweeney think about this? Has he tweeted about it?
Oh my fucking god. I don't care what Tim Sweeney thinks.
Has he tweeted about it? So he tweeted The Verge's,
of fucking course. Yeah.
So he has tweeted, this was 3 days ago, tweeted a Verge article that says Apple removes thousands of games from the Chinese App Store, alarming observers. And he said, why open platforms? Apple's control of the sole means of app distribution makes Apple an agent of every government's censorship efforts. There is no such problem on Windows or Android. Users are free to install software from sources of their choosing. And he replied to it and said, in the real world, when one store makes a crappy decision about which products it stocks, it's not a big deal. You just go to another store to buy it. Under Apple's monopoly, a decision not to carry a product is a death sentence to that product and shuts out all iOS users. He's talking about Fortnite. He's talking about this situation, but it all comes back to the sense of the whole reason this started was because you were like, hey, I don't like that you're getting a 30% cut. I want it all for myself, and went around the terms of service. Like, I get what he's saying.
I'm gonna put...
I get his point is that, like, Apple does have their own way of doing things. And on an iPhone, you have to do it their way. You can't go outside. It's not when people say, oh, it's like having a computer in my hands. You're kind of right. It has the same computing power as a computer, but it's not exactly like a computer. Same thing with a Mac. Like, you can't go out and just download anything. Windows are more customizable. But, like, when you look at it, it's their company. If you don't like it, don't use their product.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
It's that simple.
When Tim Sweeney said a monopoly, they don't have a monopoly. Samsung exists. Mm-hmm. Android exists. Fucking Windows exists.
A monopoly would be if they were the only phone company out there.
Yeah, literally. Like, you'd think a CEO of a company would know this.
Yeah.
The guy who's in charge of the whole damn company.
Man, Riot Games
is so goddamn dense.
You're telling me, man, Steam's got a monopoly over the over computer games, man. They've just got a monopoly over Riot Games. They don't have their own launcher. Ooh, Epic Games, they don't have their own store. It's just a Steam monopoly.
Like, I don't fucking get it. Mm-hmm. I see the point that he's trying to make, but he doesn't realize Apple can do what the fuck they want with their phone. Mm-hmm. It's their goddamn phone. Yeah. No, you're right. Like, it's their company. How does fucking Tim Sweeney this goddamn dumb? How? I don't get it. This was just like I said, a short update that I wanted to get out there. Epic versus Apple. And Soapy, this is going to be my internet's doing it again. I don't know what causes it. It just seems like to be at random. But we have now had 2 interruptions to my Twitch streaming. We are back for those of you who are in Twitch chat. I'm typing it out. We are back. But Soapy, we're just going to I'm going to end the show with one last thing. Hopefully we get through it. Hopefully my shit stays good as I'm checking my Discord right now. I'm going to have to reset my router before the fantasy live stream for the fantasy football live draft. But the last thing we'll talk about today, Nintendo patent appears to show a standalone Switch Joy-Con. This by VGC. A newly uncovered Nintendo patent appears to show a proposed design for a standalone Switch Joy-Con controller. Originally filed by Nintendo Japan in May 2018 and internationally registered in April 2020, the patent includes multiple images of an updated Joy-Con design. While existing Joy-Cons include connectors that attach the controller to the flagship Switch console, there are no connectors on this patent described as a new design. The design shown is a patent, could be a prototype, and there's no guarantee it will be released as a real product. However, a standalone Joy-Con could also be seen as an ideal supplement to last year's Switch Lite. And Soapy, because like you've mentioned before, you're not a big Nintendo guy. Like, for this console right here, my Switch, like, the thing that I liked about it is, I can take these Joy-Cons off. I can have my screen. It's got the little kickback stand here. I can put it down, and then either I can have my Joy-Cons in left or right, like if I'm playing with someone else, give them a Joy-Con and I get a Joy-Con, or slide them into the controller one, and I can have like a controller in my hand. But then I also liked how they click on, and I have my little portable. Like, I don't know. To me, it's one of those, if this is an actual product, this has got to be for the Switch Lite, the Switch Lite doesn't have the Joy-Cons that can come off.
It's just got this whole big thing, but smaller. In your mind, that's got to be what this is for, right? This can't be like for the actual Switch, right?
I mean, I think it would be for the Switch Lite, but it also may just be like, hey, we're just gonna have more controllers available. So like, if you want to have like more than 2 people play a game, because let's say somehow we take this back to early 2000s, LAN parties.
I mean, you can buy though. I guess you're right. No, I guess you're right. Like, I feel because I'm like, oh, you could just buy regular Joy-Cons then. But the thing I do think about that makes it, you make a good point is, unless I'm going to actually attach them to the Switch, I don't need them to attach. I could just be like, hey, I've got my 2 here that attach what I use for when I'm playing it, but I then have these 2 that don't attach in case I have like 3 people come over and we all want to play.
Yeah, because that's why I was saying, throw it back to early 2000s LAN parties.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. Fucking little kid me loved LAN parties. If there was a Switch back then, you know how disappointed everyone would be if there's only 2 controllers?
I remember LAN part. So it started off GameCube style, where you'd bring your controller, wrap up that controller, and bring it over. But I even remember like computer LAN parties where during my WoW days, I'd either bring like my entire desktop over to Dave's house, or my friend Matt would bring his entire desktop over to my house, and we would basically like play WoW together. Now Discord's a thing to where it's like, oh, we could just play in our houses and talk to each other. Like back then it was like, no man, yeah, we have TeamSpeak and stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and bring my desktop over to your house so that we can play WoW in the same room and get a whole level of communication that we've never had before.
Yeah. Dude, I kind of miss LAN parties, I'm not going to lie.
This guy, LAN parties were the only way to play Battlefield 1942.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, to me, it's like, I don't see the, what's the word I'm looking for? The need for a Joy-Con that does not attach, but at the same time, I only use my Switch for myself. I'm not playing Jack in the Box. I'm not playing these party games and having numerous people over. COVID has kind of said no. But even if there wasn't COVID, I wouldn't be having groups of people to come over to play a game on the Switch. My Switch is for me, and it's for basically when I'm out traveling, when I need something portable to take my time off of things. If I'm like at a doctor's office or I'm on a plane, or like what I would do sometimes is like at school, oh, bring it to school, play during lunch or when I have some downtime, doing homework, could do that later. I'll just sit here and play my video games. But yeah, it's just, I saw this, I thought, it's unique. I can't wait to see if this turns into anything. Because like the article says, it probably won't come out anytime soon. It says detachable Joy-Cons will be required to play Super Mario Galaxy's co-op 2-player co-star mode when the All-Stars game releases later this month. So maybe this is hey, we're going to need this for the Mario game. And hey, this is just us creating something that we're going to need for the future. But that's where we're going to end MVP Games Live today, so I can fix my connectivity issues before our fantasy football live stream coming on in about a half hour. Soapy and I will be back tomorrow with more gaming news. Remember, Discord. Join the Discord to talk to everybody. It's our big hangout community for MVP, talking sports, gaming, movies, TV, all of that stuff. Exclamation Discord and Twitch. The link down below in Twitter gets you that on YouTube. Make sure patreon.com/MVP vids is how you help support the channel. Thank you to our Patreon sponsors, Pat Hill and Philly Sean. Last but not least, we do record the show Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVP vids, but we also put them on YouTube, MVP Entertainment. Plus, you can go see other things. My Mulan review is up on MVP Entertainment. See what I thought of Mulan, whether you should watch it, not watch it, or you saw it and you just want to know what I thought of it. That is also on the YouTube channel as well. I want to thank you guys for being another great audience. Let Soapy and I sit here and talk to you about games. Also, Soapy, happy birthday. I can't say that enough. I hope it's been a good birthday as it's almost over by the time I'm first talking to you today. But yeah, you guys wish happy birthday to Soaps as well. We'll be back tomorrow for another jam-packed Tuesday show. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Bye.